Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another Square video for today. So, Square reported earnings, and in my opinion, it wasn't that great. At the time of making this video, the stock is actually down between 4 and 5%. Now that might change when you're watching this video, but this quarter was not so great. We're gonna have a look at all the numbers in just a bit, but if you just want to hear my opinion and not the numbers, this is it. This quarter wasn't as good as the last couple of quarters for Square. I was expecting much more than this. Now that doesn't mean that I'm suddenly bearish or I'm gonna sell my shares, not even close. The long-term thesis hasn't really changed and cannot change really in one quarter. I will not sell any shares now, not tomorrow, not in a week. We will keep looking at Square very closely in the next couple of quarters, but again, one quarter does not change a long-term thesis. I will say this, and this is probably something most of you that have been following me for a while, I will say that one red flag here is Jack Dorsey. Has always been a red flag for me. We can see how he manages Twitter, a complete disaster. And yes, I am afraid that he might turn Square into Twitter 2.0. Because if you're a Cash App user, you know that you can only trade and send Bitcoin. There is no other cryptocurrency on that platform. And as you will see in the earnings results, the Bitcoin revenue was less than the last quarters, especially gross profit as well, even though Bitcoin is at its all-time highs. So what could they do? Very easy, something a lot of people already told them and already said on Twitter. I said it in a couple of videos already. Add other cryptocurrencies. Don't add crap coins. Add Ethereum, Cardano, maybe even Solana. I'm sure that if they would have added Ethereum or Ethereum and Solana or Ethereum and Cardano, they would have doubled the crypto revenue this quarter and also last quarters. But no, Jack is a Bitcoin maximalist, and that's always a red flag. I do hope that if that continues and they see that his obsession with Bitcoin is killing the business, that they're going to vote him out and maybe the CFO, hopefully the CFO, will replace him in the future. Now I'll stop this rant right here and we're gonna jump in the earnings report in just a bit. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Now, Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. So all you have to do is go to fool.com/couchinvestor to get your free 10 stock picks now. Alright, so first up, the front page, as you can see, this is SoFi Stadium. As you know, they've reached an agreement with SoFi Stadium where their POS systems will be available there. So that's great to see, front and center. So now let's look at the numbers. Gross profit, $1.13 billion. That's up 43% year over year, but down a little bit quarter over quarter. Adjusted EBITDA, $233 million, up 28% year over year, but down significantly quarter over quarter. Now with the net income, I know a lot of you are probably already looking at this, $0. We're gonna have a look at this a bit later. Seller's gross profit is up 48% year over year or 29% on a 2-year CAGR to $606 million. And that's up quarter over quarter as well. For the Cash App gross profit, that's actually down quarter over quarter, up 33% year over year. And on a 2-year CAGR, that's still up 3 digits to 104%, totaling $512 million. Now touching on the seller ecosystem, this is actually my favorite side of the business. So Square Invoices, they also have Square Invoices Plus, which they launched in August. That's a new paid software subscription offering designed for larger businesses that need help managing complex operations. Now Square Invoices has experienced strong growth, processing $12 billion in GPV over the last 12 months, and that's up nearly 2x from 2 years ago. Why do they use 2 years? Because obviously last year was COVID and most of the sellers were inactive. Now, regarding this segment, which is always very interesting, the seller GPV mix by seller side, we always want to see that this bigger segment here gets bigger over time. That's also something they mentioned on the earnings call, is that in 2022, they'll go after the larger commerce players. How will they do that? They will probably offer a bundle with all of Square services, whether it's Square Cash App, Cash Card, Pay with Cash App, now with Afterpay as well. So they will have this bundle deal that they could offer to bigger merchants and enterprises. More recently, they also announced that they are expanding Cash Apps to families by serving teens in the United States. That's a completely new demographic and a pretty big one. This will only work through an authorization from a parent or a guardian. Individuals between 13 and 17 years old can now use Cash App for peer-to-peer payments, cash cards, and related rewards through boosts and banking tools like direct deposit. This teen audience represents approximately 20 million individuals in the United States, and they believe they will represent a greater portion of spending power in the coming years. Obviously, when you attract someone that is 15, 16 years old, in 3, 4, 5 years' time, that person will be much more valuable to you. Now, regarding the cash card, they say here that cash card actives brought in approximately 70% more inflows each month than non-cash card actives. Cash card adoption has led to stronger growth. In the third quarter, inflows per cash card active grew nearly 2 times faster than non-cash card active on a 2-year CAGR. It's really great that they show us here 2-year CAGR instead of the Corona period. All right, now the big section here. So total net revenue was $3.84 billion. It's a big miss actually from the estimates. I believe estimates were around $4.4 billion or so. So quite a miss there. That's up 27% year over year. Now, excluding Bitcoin, total net revenue for the third quarter was $2.03 billion, up 45% year over year. Now, gross profit was $1.13 billion, up 43% year over year, or 51% on a 2-year CAGR. Now, remember in my previous video, I talked about how Bitcoin and Bitcoin's gross profit might actually be higher than the last 2 quarters because we've reached all-time highs. Well, I was wrong. As we can see here, while Bitcoin revenue was $1.81 billion in the third quarter of 2021, up 11% year over year, Bitcoin gross profit was only $42 million, or approximately 2% of Bitcoin's revenue. Last quarter, if I remember correctly, was $55 million, and the quarter before that was $75 million. So we could have assumed that Bitcoin being back at all-time highs will bring it back and beat the previous quarter, but no. And going back to my point of Cash App having to add more cryptocurrency to it, that would have helped this segment a lot. Last but not least, Square loans, obviously less than before. This is logical and not really a red flag. So in the third quarter, they facilitated approximately 83,000 loans, totaling $594 million in originations and nearing pre-pandemic quarterly origination levels. Square loans gross profit benefited from PPP loans, but obviously much lower than before, which they say here is primarily a near-term benefit as gross profit is recognized in the period PPP loans are forgiven. Now, with regards to Cash App, we talked about the gross profit from it before, but the revenue was $2.39 billion. And on a 2-year CAGR, that grew 179%. So quite nice there as well. Now, net income was $13 million when excluding $7 million in loss on our equity investment and $6 million loss related to the impairment of their Bitcoin investment. Great job, Jack. All right, to conclude, one meh quarter does not change my long-term thesis. One bad or meh quarter will not change how I view a company. But over the long term, I will be keeping an eye very closely to what Jack is doing, especially with his Bitcoin addiction. Now, I would like to know what you think about this quarter. I would like to know what you think about Jack as being CEO and being a Bitcoin maximalist. So do let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you're a Pinterest shareholder, my Pinterest video should drop right after this one, so stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. As always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye bye.